Hello, I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is Calico Kate. I'm nosy. I'll be the first to say it. I love looking in people's junk, seeing what they've got, watching them organize, watching their fingers move organized. I enjoy it. So, I was getting ready to do this and I started, and I've already done a little bit. I went to the thrift store today and yeah, I don't have to say more. I found some good stuff. I found 3 t-shirts to clean in and work in the yard in. I'm not a t-shirt person, but there's just something about doing that kind of stuff with nice clothes on that, just doesn't get me. So anyway, I got some t-shirts. I got one of those spinner pin things that hold all kinds of stuff. I got a couple of these little things that you put on your wall that have a saying on the inside, because I needed a bigger thing to put my stuff in. And I bought this little thing I thought would be fun to use like a border, because I'm not punching those out and then gluing them one by one. And so I can it's not really a border thing. That's kind of thick, so it didn't work. Let's use something thinner. Here, we'll just use this. There. See, I thought that would make a cute little border. And what else did I get? Oh, I found some Rit dye, brand new bottles, practically. And that's about it. I got 3, a wine, a yellow, and a purple. I had several of the wine color, but I didn't need it, so I didn't get all of them. I just got one. I thought this summer Emerson would enjoy putting on her old swimming suit, and we could go out in the sun and we could play with that. And I got this little photo album book, and I've seen probably AJ's, Allison's, on AJ Inspired Life. This is how she keeps her numbers or her months or something. And I decided that was an excellent idea. Right now I've been keeping each one in an envelope, and it is a royal pain. So I bought it, and we'll see how it works. So, how are you all today? I hope you're all doing wonderful. I had all my months of the year. I've got a pile over here to my right and to my left, putting all these in piles, so then I can put them in order. And I know you can't see my pile, but I just have to apologize for that. There's a February. There's a March. But I think this will let me... Otherwise, I have to get them all out every time I need something. And if that's not a trip. I had a dentist appointment today. I did not sleep good. And I was up and not awake. I'm not like you, Elizabeth. I wasn't wide awake whether to do anything. Never Hopeless by Elizabeth is going through sleeping issues, and she wakes up and she's raring to go. I am not raring to go. But about 6, probably by the end of this, I'll remember how to get into there. But by the 5:30, I was ready to go back to sleep. So I went to bed and slept for about 2 hours. Set the alarm, and I went, and then I came through Memphis, our little town here, and then came home. I had to pick up some eggs. We were all out of eggs. So I went to the lumber yard, and that's where we get our eggs from. They're little organic eggs, $3 a dozen. Can't beat that. Well, you probably could, but we were talking to a friend of ours that raise them, and she said they make nothing on them. Okay, now we need April. She said that to really make money, you'd have to charge, $20 to $30 a dozen, and nobody's going to want to buy that, Okay, so April, May. I know I don't have many Mays, but I know I have some. Well, there's a couple Februarys. Well, we're just going to wait on the Mays, and we'll just hold a place for them. Isn't that funny how, you get them May, June, you get them off the same calendar. Oh, there's my Mays. There's a May. And it's like, how come I have so many more of these than those? I don't know. I don't know. It's supposed to rain at any time. I wanted to wash some more of my quilts. That's been what I've been up to. April, there. But it looks like at any moment it could just pour. So I'll maybe wash them tonight and maybe put them on the line in the morning. I have to be at school in the morning, June, July, August at 8:15. I know that's going to kill me. And to present the winners of our poster contest. And Greg goes, "Who did that big mistake?" And I said, "It wasn't me." So it is what it is. I can always come home and go back to bed. October. Boy, there's lots of, there's more Octobers. Okay, there's an October, there's an October, here's an October. And I just saw an August. Now see, why are there so many Octobers? And here's an August. October. November. And over here are December. Awesome. And then at the end of the year, I'll get a whole bunch more because of all the calendars. Okay, so now I know I've got part of each. I've got zeros in here because I didn't know where to put my zeros. So all right, so we're going to put my zeros here. Oh, no, we aren't. We're going to put our days of the week. So now we got to straighten these all out. I hope you're doing fun things today. I don't know that you could call this fun, but I could be cleaning my house. Wednesday. These that are all together, I'm going to hold on to them together. And so Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, this Wednesdays, I can go ahead and just slide those in there, and then I won't lose them. Sunday, Monday, nope, that would be a Tuesday. Why don't you tell me that? Say, Kathy, nope, you don't want to do that. Or Kate, whichever you wanted to call me. Here's a Thursday, a Wednesday. So anyway, I did my Kirksville thing. I mean, my Edina thing for 6 months. I now have good teeth. It was fun. I'm still getting used to everybody knowing everybody, because in Florida, it wasn't always that way. And so I sat down, and the girl said, "Are you any relation to Nikki Cowell?" And I said, "Yeah, that's my daughter-in-law." She goes, "I went to senior prom with her brother." And she knew Jackson. Now, this is where he goes to get his braces. And so she goes, "I remember him at when they brought him to the Grand March. He was so cute." And I said, "Well, he's 13 now." And I said, "Do you want to see a more recent picture of him?" And she goes, "Oh, I do, because I'm friends with such and such." And she's always putting his picture up with her son. Yep, that's the next county over. So yeah, everybody. That's when we say in a little town, everybody knows everybody. That's what we mean. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody's in everybody else's business. And I'm sure when I told Nikki that that's who my dental hygienist was, and so I'm sure, she's already told Griffin, and the news will have gone around. There are, the Miranda Lambert song, "Everybody Dies Famous in a Small Town." Unless you live in one, you truly do not know how true that is. We had 2 ladies that have worked the state quiz bowl competition for years, and they were on the top of the fold front page of our newspaper. Our newspaper is about 4 pages. Somebody breaks a school record, it'll probably be on front page. They're looking for anything that's news. And what the kids are doing in sports is important in a little town. So, But again, you get arrested and you're probably going to be on the front page. Andy, I can remember, was on the front page when he got his first deer. You know, not everybody is. It just depends on the news of the day. That's just kind of how little towns are. And the saying that, you know, your mom will know before you get home. Oh, that's very true. Andy accidentally ran, well, I don't know if it was accidentally, but he ran the stop sign going to FFA one night about 8, 9 o'clock. School wasn't in session. And I get a phone call from the cop telling me that she stopped him. But she goes, now, I didn't give him a ticket because he's a good kid. But I told him that I wasn't going to give him a ticket, but he had to tell you. And when I pick up my son at school Monday, I'd ask if he told you. And she said, then the next time I see him doing anything wrong, I'll be giving him a ticket. Andy's a kind. He told me he wasn't going to sneak. And we've all talked about why there was even a stop. You know, it needs to be, you know, stop during school hours or something, because nobody needs to stop at 8 o'clock for the school stop sign. But anyway, he called. He said, did Melissa already call you? And I said, yes, she did. And she said, then I guess I can go. I said, I guess you can. So then when he got home, I was asking him something about it. And he said, of all times for me to be late for FFA, I said, I'm not worrying about it. So she wasn't either. She was laughing when she called me. So, yeah. That's a little town. A very little town. Though they're doing a lot of buildings, so we think that it's growing. And if it's growing, that's a good thing. Because they're doing a lot of building houses. And that's a good thing. You know, I'm not complaining. But Greg and I were just talking about it the other day, that maybe that means we're growing. Maybe some of the people who have graduated are staying local or something, because, you know, you don't want your little towns to die. Little towns are your heart of America. You know, Missouri's a flyover state, but there's a lot of good people here. Okay. Saturday. Yesterday, I worked outside. I doubled my walk goal yesterday. I've never done that before. Sunday. You know, if I'd have done these in order, it'd have been easier, wouldn't it? And I know I'm going to have some in the wrong place. I know I'm going to have some on the floor because I feel them fall. So I hope you all are having a wonderful day, doing something you're wanting to do, whether it's crafting or some laundry or some taking a nap. I hope you're getting to do it. Greg's niece is here cleaning house. So I'm up here out of her way. I didn't want to be in the way. That's one of those ideas he came up with, and I jumped if you hear her. It's who it is. See what else has been going on the farm. They're about to get all the spraying and mowing and stuff like that. Greg's wanting to go to Quincy, that's in Illinois, across the river, maybe tomorrow, to get some stuff. He took Jackson's little side-by-side over to have it repaired. They can't figure out what's wrong with it, so Andy's mowing yards. He pretty much mows the whole town of Arbela, population 40. It's a really good gig, though, because, you know, he goes there and he can get them all done on the same day. Takes about 3 hours when he and Jackson do it, because he does trimming while Jackson mows, and then Jackson can, you know, do that for a while or whatever. So, and it's just 3 miles up the road, so yeah, it's a good deal. Oh my, if anybody's still with me, thank you. Hope I haven't made you fall asleep yet. Emerson and I baked brownies yet. We were going to bake a cake and I didn't have any buttermilk. We're going to make a Texas cheesecake, and don't know if you know what that is. It's a really good chocolate cake, and you put the icing on while it's still hot. Greg had mentioned he was hungry for it, and I like to bake and do stuff when Emerson's here. Get her off that dang technology. And she said, well, I've got to have my phone in there. Somebody might call me. And I said, then lay it down, and if they call, answer it. And you know what? Not a single one of her little friends called. They are probably at their Nana's baking cakes too, or brownies or something. I'm getting tired of doing this already. I don't know that I can do, well, the numbers will be easy because they are separated already by their, by the days of the week. So it's just a matter of all these little tiny that. But see, now this is the kind of thing I would sit and listen to somebody else do and keep crafting or snoozing my chair, or you know, that kind of thing. Just something to listen to. Whoops, that's Tuesdays. I don't have to think. I don't have to anything. I can, you know, just kind of craft and listen. Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute. And I'm going to put these that I haven't separated yet into a pocket. And some sticky on it. So I want Sunday. There's a Friday and a Tuesday and a Sunday there. Okay, so these are all going to be Sunday. I think this is going to be a good system. And then these are going to be Mondays. And these Mondays, oh, I had 2 piles of Mondays. That's fine. Monday. See, this is what I was afraid of happening. Monday. There's Wednesday, Monday. So let's move Saturdays over here. Now, if you guys know a better way of doing this sorting, please let me know. I was listening to a book, and I thought, well, I could listen to a book and do it. And then I thought, no, I'll just bring you along for a while. I thought about doing, you know, just a haul video, and I thought, oh, let's not just do that. Okay. Now, this is going to be Tuesday. I wonder how many of these you saw me put in the wrong pile. I'll catch them later. And yeah, I've got some numbers behind them. And that's when you just got to kind of pick and choose what you need. But these are ripping. This is ripping pretty fast. So I don't know if you know how to keep those from doing that. I can tape them. I mean, I know I can do that. Okay, there's Fridays. Friday. There's a Monday. And then here's a Wednesday. Anybody still here? Okay, so there's Wednesdays. Wednesday, Thursday. Aren't you glad I know my days of the week? Hey, Macarena. That's how we used to teach kindergartners. When I was a reading coach and we'd teach kindergarten the days of the week. She taught them by the Macarena. Thursday. The nice thing about numbers and days of the week, you know, if you get them in order right and don't skip any, you don't have to, what's this, Wednesday? There's a Thursday. I'll only have to get into this probably, what, once a month? But it'll be a nice little book. it'll be easier to store than the basket I'm trying to store with everything in it. And and from what I've seen from you all, it works pretty good. So I'm a copying. Saturday in the park. Okay, so we've got that there. I think this is just a 26. I'll put that in later. I think I'll put this in here. And I may end up cutting that up, but okay. So now, let's see what this is. Is this a 26? Nope, it's a Monday. So we have Sunday, Monday, happy days. So here's Sunday. There's a Monday. What I really want to do is put all the rest of those in one of them and do it later. But that's not my goal. So then that'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I still have all these to do, but I'm going to hold on. I still have... I don't know what to do with these. And I've got some here that only go to 12. Why, I don't know, to 12. So these I may just cut here and put them in a pocket or something. These are stickers. So I may just put them, I may just make a big pocket here, or I can do this. And then I can start zeros here. And I'll start zeros here. And then I've got, like, these are all my ones. So see, this will be much easier. I'm going to keep that for the 26th, I think. Because I imagine I got more 1s than 26s. And so then those are my 1s. Well, and then I've got my 2s. So you kind of got the idea of what I'm doing this afternoon. I think I'm going to leave you to this. Or let you lead me to this. And I may come back when I get done. I may not, I don't know. Makes a difference if I remember. And And I'll keep going with my 3s and 4s and clear to 31. So thank you so much for keeping me company while I did this. I hope everything is going well. I hope you're getting done again like what you want to get done. And always remember, you have a purpose. Bye for now.